The ancient Zen teachings are not about intellectual discourse or abstract theories. They are about direct, personal experience. In Zen, the nature of reality is not something to be understood through words or concepts, but something to be realized through deep, lived experience. This experience invites us to see beyond the veil of illusion that clouds our everyday perceptions and to recognize the ultimate truth that Zen calls Suchness or Tathata. But how does Zen approach the vast and complex question of reality itself? How does it respond to the fundamental philosophical problem of suffering? And what unique insights does it offer in relation to the Buddhist teachings on the Four Noble Truths? To answer these questions, we must first explore Zen's unique perspective on illusion, often called Maya, and the ultimate nature of truth. Zen offers a radically direct way of understanding suffering, truth, and liberation, one that can shake our conventional notions of reality and bring us closer to an awakened life. Before we dive into this profound exploration, I want to welcome you to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. Whether you're new to Zen or have been walking this path for some time, you're in the right place for an in-depth look at the teachings that invite us to live with more awareness, more clarity, and greater compassion. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the next step of this unfolding journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. At the heart of Zen is the recognition that reality is not what it seems. The everyday world, with all its appearances, distractions, and sensory input, is a mere reflection, a shadow of the deeper truths that lie beyond. Zen echoes the ancient Buddhist insight that the world we perceive with our senses is fundamentally illusory. The term Maya refers to this illusion, the deceptive nature of the phenomenal world. But what does it mean for Zen to assert that the world is an illusion, and how does it relate to the truth of the universe? Illusion Maya in Zen. In Buddhist philosophy, Maya refers to the veil of illusion that hides the true nature of existence. This illusion manifests as the world of form, time, and duality, the world of things that we think we can touch, see, and control. Our attachment to these things and our desire for them leads us to forget that they are ultimately impermanent, constantly changing, and ungraspable. Zen teaching takes this understanding one step further by emphasizing that our habitual ways of thinking about reality, our attachment to concepts and dualities like self and other, subject and object, right and wrong, create a false, fragmented view of the world. The Zen master Huaining in the Platform Sutra famously said, "The nature of mind is like a mirror. It reflects everything, but it is not attached to anything." This teaching points directly to the fact that the mind, in its original state, is not bound by dualistic concepts. It is pure, luminous, and free. It reflects the world without distorting it into the separations we so often cling to. When we become attached to forms, be they physical objects, fleeting emotions, or thoughts, we lose touch with this original, unconditioned mind. Thus, our perception of the world becomes clouded, and we fall prey to the illusion of separateness. Zen emphasizes that we are not separate from the world, nor are we separate from one another. This illusory separation leads to suffering. We crave things that we believe will satisfy us, but they cannot because they are not permanent. We fear the things we think will harm us, yet they too are transient. The Zen path asks us to pierce through this veil of illusion and directly experience the truth that lies beneath. Suchness, Tathata, the ultimate truth in Zen. Zen does not stop with the recognition of illusion. It takes us beyond this recognition to an experiential realization of Suchness or Tathata, the ultimate nature of reality. These terms describe the unmanifested, ever-present truth that transcends concepts, thoughts, and distinctions. In Zen, Suchness is not an abstract philosophical idea, but an experience of reality in its most direct and intimate form. Zen practice, particularly through Zazen, seated meditation, invites practitioners to directly encounter Suchness. When we sit in stillness, without the interference of constant thought and distraction, we begin to touch the world as it truly is without labeling, categorizing, or interpreting. This experience is often described as being one with the present moment, a moment in which the boundaries between self and other, subject and object, dissolve. In the Surangama Sutra, the Buddha speaks of the ultimate reality as Suchness, emphasizing that this is beyond all conceptualization. Zen teaches that the true nature of things is not bound by language or thought. It is such because it is beyond all attributes, and it is that because it is the foundational truth of all phenomena. By letting go of attachment to the illusions of dualistic thinking, the practitioner begins to glimpse the vast, interconnected nature of all things. Zen and the problem of suffering. Now that we have an understanding of Zen's approach to illusion and ultimate truth, we must turn our attention to how Zen addresses the problem of suffering, which lies at the heart of Buddhist teachings. In the traditional Buddhist framework, the Four Noble Truths lay out the nature of suffering, dukkha, its causes, its cessation, and the path that leads to its end. How does Zen, with its emphasis on direct experience and non-conceptual awareness, engage with these teachings? The first noble truth, suffering, dukkha, in Zen. In Zen, suffering is understood not as an intellectual problem, but as a lived reality. We are not just asked to reflect on suffering conceptually, but to feel it in our bodies, our minds, and our lives. Zen teaches that suffering is not just external. It is something that arises from the way we cling to and resist the fleeting nature of existence. This clinging is rooted in our attachment to the illusion of permanence and the belief in a separate, fixed self. When we believe that we can possess, control, or hold on to things, we inevitably experience suffering. In Zen practice, suffering is acknowledged as an inescapable part of life, but it is also seen as an opportunity for awakening. When we directly face suffering without denial or avoidance, we begin to see through the illusion that suffering is something outside of us. Instead, suffering is revealed as a natural and intrinsic part of our being and existence. Zen invites us to sit with suffering, not to escape it, but to transcend it through direct experience and awareness. The second noble truth, the cause of suffering. In Zen, the cause of suffering is seen in our attachment to the self, that illusory sense of separation from the world and from others. This is directly related to the Zen insight into the nature of illusion. When we identify with a fixed self, we create a sense of scarcity, lack, and desire. We begin to chase after what we think will make us happy, whether that is material wealth, fame, or emotional validation. But Zen teaches that this pursuit is ultimately futile because the self we cling to is just a mental construct, a product of attachment to illusory concepts. The Zen approach to overcoming the causes of suffering is simple yet profound. We must let go. In koan practice, a Zen student is often given a paradoxical statement or question that cannot be answered through logical reasoning, such as the famous, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" The purpose of such paradoxes is to break the student free from conceptual thinking and bring them into direct, non-conceptual experience. Through the realization that the self is an illusion, suffering begins to dissipate, for the self is no longer grasping at fleeting things. The third noble truth, the cessation of suffering. In Zen, the cessation of suffering is not some distant or abstract goal to be achieved in the future. Rather, it is something that can be realized in the present moment. By letting go of attachment to self and concept, suffering naturally falls away. The Zen practitioner, through their practice of meditation and mindfulness, comes to experience the emptiness of the self and the interconnectedness of all beings. This direct experience of interconnectedness is what Zen calls awakening or enlightenment. It is a profound realization that all phenomena, including suffering, are transient and interconnected. As the Zen master Dogen said, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. In forgetting the illusory self, one enters into the reality of interconnectedness, where suffering is no longer an obstacle, but a teacher. The fourth noble truth, the path to liberation. The path to liberation in Zen is not a linear, structured process, but a way of being in the world. It is the practice of being fully present, without attachment to thoughts, desires, or the ego self. Zen offers us the Eightfold Path, but rather than seeing it as a series of steps to be followed, it is more a way of embodying a state of awareness and presence. The Zen path is one of simplicity and directness, cutting through the illusions that veil the truth and allowing the mind to return to its original, unconditioned state. Zen offers a profound and direct approach to understanding the nature of reality. By revealing the illusory nature of the world and pointing to the ultimate truth of suchness, it invites us to experience reality as it truly is, beyond concepts, beyond self-attachment, and beyond suffering. Through meditation, mindfulness, and the deep exploration of koans, Zen practitioners are encouraged to transcend the illusions of dualistic thinking and awaken to the interconnectedness of all things. In doing so, they begin to dissolve the causes of suffering, experiencing a life of profound peace, clarity, and insight. Zen's view of reality challenges us to question our everyday assumptions and to engage with the world in a radically different way, one that does not grasp at things but simply allows them to be as they are. This path is not about intellectual understanding, but about living in deep, intimate awareness. If you found this exploration into Zen and its teachings helpful, remember that this journey is just beginning. There is much more to uncover about the nature of suffering, illusion, and the path to liberation. Thank you for joining me on this unfolding journey. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next step on the path to awakening. Together, we'll continue to explore and uncover the deeper truths that can lead to a more mindful, awakened life. Remember, the journey is unfolding one step at a time,